performing a clean install, and upgrading Windows. Armin Shariarian. Performing a clean install and upgrading Windows. Clean installs are my preferred way to go. By performing a clean install, you're far less likely to run into issues caused by bad drivers, corrupted system files, or misconfigurations. In this section, I walk you through how to do a clean install of Windows Server 2022. In this section, I assume that you've already booted to whatever media you're going to use for the installation, DVD, flash drive, and so on, and you're on the starting installation screen for Windows Server 2022. If you've done this, you should see a screen that looks like Figure 3:2. From this screen, follow these steps. Figure 3:2. The first installation screen for Windows Server 2022. 1. Select the appropriate settings for your locality and click Next. In my example, I've chosen the following. Language to install, English, United States. Time and currency format, English, United States. Keyboard or input method, US. After you click Next, the screen shown in Figure 3:3 appears. Figure 3:3. The Windows Server 2022 Install Now button. 2. Click Install Now. 3. On the next screen, choose which version of the operating system you want to install and click Next. The default selection is for Windows Server 2022 Standard, shown in Figure 3:4. If you prefer, you can select Windows Server 2022 Standard. Desktop Experience, Windows Server 2022 Data Center, or Windows Server 2022 Data Center, Desktop Experience. 4. On the next screen, check the I accept the license terms box and click Next. 5. On the next screen, choose Custom. The other option is for upgrade installations. Figure 3:4. Choosing your desired edition and experience of Windows Server 2022. 6. On the next screen, select the partition on which you want to install Windows and click Next. In Figure 3:5, you can see that this is Drive 0. Windows Server 2022 begins installation and restarts after it's finished. That's when the real fun begins. Figure 3:5. Choose where to install Windows. Upgrading Windows. When considering an upgrade install, you need to ensure that the version of the operating system you're starting with is able to be upgraded to Windows Server 2022. Table 3:1 tells you which operating systems you can upgrade from and which edition of Windows Server 2022 you can upgrade to. As a general rule, you can update to the newest Windows Server operating system directly as long as you're within the last 2 major releases. Table 3:1. Windows Server 2022 Upgrade Compatibility Matrix. If you're running this edition, you can upgrade to these editions. Windows Server 2016 Standard, Windows Server 2022 Standard or Data Center, Windows Server 2016 Data Center, Windows Server 2022 Data Center, Windows Server 2019 Standard, Windows Server 2022 Standard or Data Center, Windows Server 2019 Data Center, Windows Server 2022 Data Center. You also need to check with your application vendors to ensure that the applications on the server are compatible with Windows Server 2022. If they aren't, then You may need to upgrade your applications before you upgrade the server operating system. There is no direct upgrade path from Windows Server operating systems that are older than Windows Server 2016. If you're migrating from an older server, start with a clean installation. If you can't use a clean installation, you'll need to upgrade to either Windows Server 2016 or Windows Server 2019 to be able to upgrade to Windows Server 2022. After you've verified that you're on a compatible version, you can begin the upgrade install. For this example, I'll start with a Windows Server 2019 standard installation and upgrade it to Windows Server 2022 standard. Follow these steps. 1. Login as the administrator on the system that you want to upgrade. 2. Insert the disk or other installation media into the system that you're wanting to upgrade, and run setup.exe. The next screen asks if you want to download updates and drivers ahead of time. See Figure 3 to 6. Figure 3 to 6. Choose to either keep your files and settings or start fresh. 3. On the Install Windows Server screen, click Next. Any relevant updates will be downloaded. You may be required to reboot before you're able to continue. On the Install Windows Server screen, you'll see a Change How Setup Downloads Updates link. Clicking this link allows you to not patch the server at the time of installation. I don't recommend doing this unless the server doesn't have an internet connection, because it will be potentially vulnerable to attack until it's patched. 4. Select Windows Server 2022 Standard with Desktop Experience, or whichever version you want, and click Next. 5. Read through the license terms if you have time on your hands, and then click Accept. On the next screen, you choose whether to keep your personal files and apps, or keep nothing. If you're sticking with the same experience, core or desktop, you'll see both options. If you're changing the experience, the only option you'll have will be to keep nothing. 6. If you have the option, select the Keep Personal Files and Apps Radio button, and then click Next. If you want to start clean, you can select Nothing. Just be aware that you will lose data if you choose this option. In my case, because I'm using Evaluation Media, I can only choose Nothing. This screen is shown in Figure 3 to 6. If the Keep Files, Settings, and Apps option is grayed out, it may be because you're trying to change the user experience, for example, from core to desktop, or you may be using Evaluation Media rather than Retail Media. In either case, you have to choose Nothing. The installer fetches any applicable updates and presents you with a summary screen. 7. If everything looks correct, click Install. The installer begins the upgrade install to Windows Server 2022. It may restart several times during